Severe drought delaying traffic through Panama Canal. Here's a clip.
So glad you're streaming with us. Well, low water levels at the Panama Canal are actually causing a traffic jam in one of the largest trading routes in the world right now.
A historic drought coupled with El Nino means that goods can't get through the Panama Canal. You're looking at it right there, one of the world's great engineering achievements, and it could impact holiday shopping. Our Matt Rivers is on the ground nearby the Panama Canal tracking it all.
One of the industrial wonders of the world, the Panama Canal, linking two of the world's great oceans. Hundreds of billions of dollars in trade flows between the Atlantic and the Pacific each year, the U.S. by far its largest user. But there's a problem: delays. Here we're high above the Pacific Ocean entrance to the canal, and we see ship after ship just waiting. They want to cross, but as we see up close,
it's like COVID all over again.
These massive cargo ships carry everything from consumer electronics to raw materials. But the longer they're stuck out here in the Pacific Ocean, the later they arrive in ports up and down the U.S. coast. Remember all those supply chain issues during the pandemic? They've been getting better, but this is not helping, and it's all because of drought.
When a ship enters the canal, it needs to be raised or lowered a few times as it heads to the other side. The canal sucks water in to lift a ship up and expels it to lower. The process uses about 55 million gallons of water for each ship, all of it from nearby lakes, most of which eventually gets flushed out to sea. And in Panama, one of the world's wettest countries, that's rarely been a problem. Until now.
In your 40-year career, you've never seen anything like this?
No.
Wow, 40 years?
No, we've had droughts before, we have extended dry season before, we have El Nino phenomenon before, but not to the extent that we've been seeing this year.
An extended hotter dry season and a less wet than usual wet season means officials say water levels around here haven't been this low in late August in 109 years.
What?
Now authorities blame an El Nino weather pattern and climate change.
Climate change.
We took a boat ride with Captain Manuel Tordesillas to see the canal's fresh water source for ourselves. Here, the tops of old trees...
So they always blame climate change, like man-made climate change and everything, right? But they say it's been 109 years. So 109 years ago, before oil was even being used, there was still, there's still droughts. They happen.
Out of the water, never cut down during original construction.
Wow.
Normalmente el nivel de agua está donde cambia el color.
Sí, aquí.
Donde está blanco.
Donde está blanco, exactamente aquí.
So basically he's saying there that normally the water level is up where you can see the color change to white. That's a solid, es más o menos 2 metros, no? It's 2 meters, essentially, lower than where it would be normally this time of year.
Those levels have forced canal authorities to conserve water, both by lowering the weight limit for crossing ships and by reducing the number of ships that can cross each day, hence the traffic jam that we saw from above.
The fact is that those ships that just show up and they have to wait, that could have an impact on consumers down the road.
Probably yes, because of somehow the additional cost of waiting will be passed on to the final consumer.
The canal depends on the rainy season to refill its water sources, and so far, the season hasn't been great. And with the next dry season just a few months away, things have to get better and fast.
So we could see this problem continue well into next year.
If it doesn't rain, it will.
Wow. And Matt Rivers joins us now from the Panama City Canal with more. So Panama is a fascinating place. I'm kind of jealous. Such a great piece there, Matt, to take a look at this essential, this crucial world supply route in this context. So a question arises, what impact will it have on the supply chain for the holiday shopping season coming? We saw how COVID disrupted that. What are people telling you there?
Yeah, Terry, I mean, that would be the first question I think a lot of people would ask, because now everyone knows, supply chain issues. That's in the American vernacular now, and I think that's a very valid question in terms of what's going to happen here. I don't think that we're going to see those kinds of problems, those systemic problems again, if only because not every piece of trade goes through the canal here. But there's a lot of trade that goes through the canal. And so the longer these delays build up on top of each other, the more fees are incurred. And the question is, do these companies that are shipping things around the world pass those fees on to consumers? I think in past experience, we've seen the answer is yes. I don't think it's going to be such a big impact, according to the officials we're speaking to, but the longer this goes on, the worse it could be.
And climate change isn't going away anytime soon. We know that, right? So what's the plan just to avoid this all from happening again, Matt?
Yeah, Kira, I asked that question to officials because if droughts continue, well, what are they going to do? And they said, look, they can do more water-saving measures in terms of restricting weights of ships crossing through the canal. They can restrict the number of ships actually going through the canal. But there's only so much they can do. This is a freshwater canal. It needs rainfall in order to function. You can't just replace it with seawater. The way this is designed, it needs fresh water.
Interesting.
So if droughts continue to happen, unfortunately, the actual viability of the Panama Canal itself could come into question well down the road. I'm not saying that's going to happen next year or the year after that, but this is something that officials say is keeping them up at night, thinking about the long-term future of the Panama Canal.
Wow, amazing.
Matt, appreciate your reporting so much.
Very interesting, isn't it? It's kind of scary. Why don't they use seawater, I wonder? I'm assuming is when they built it, they were just worried about erosion, but there's pipes that can handle saltwater. And wouldn't saltwater make like the ships more buoyant? So then you could theoretically, right, use less water. You use less water, and then, yeah, it makes the ships raise easier, I would think. Definitely not an expert. I'm just speculating here, but yeah, it's very interesting. You would think they would just take it from the seawater. You're not going to run out of ocean water. It's a third of the planet. No matter how bad like a drought gets, you're going to have seawater. I wonder if in the future they'll end up like redoing this. What's interesting is they just expanded it and they didn't think to do this. They know that, you know, droughts come and go and all this type of stuff. And they all believe that climate change is going to get worse. You know, it probably will. I mean, I don't know, even if it's man-made or not, the sun's going into like it's a different cycle and everything. So you would think they would have actually planned for this when they just expanded it. I think they expanded it the last 5 years. I don't really remember, to be honest. Maybe it's 2016, 2018. But they just made it bigger. So you would think they would have thought about like, oh, maybe we should actually retrofit this to use seawater. But I guess they didn't. I guess they didn't think of that. Yeah, it's very interesting. But, I mean, we're used to the supply issues. Hopefully it's not going to be like 2020, like that Matt, the reporter that covered this. He made a good point. Not everything's going through the canal. So, you know, hopefully it won't be as bad. I know here in Austin, like lighters in particular, just getting a lighter is like impossible to do. I don't really know why, but it is. It's just so hard to find even light. You could get them at like liquor stores and stuff like that where you're going to be paying several dollars for a lighter. But if you just want to go get the packs from like HEB, or if you want to get them from like, anywhere like that, you know, HEB or wherever, Target. Yeah, we don't shop at Target anymore though, do we? We try to avoid it. You want to go and do some weird stuff? We're going to boycott you. That's how it goes. You know, why not? But anyway, back to the point, like, you can't find lighters around here. I don't know why. Out of everything that's not available. Again, you go to a liquor store and you want to spend $2-3 for a lighter. I'm old. I remember like in the 90s when they're like 25 cents for a lighter. Now we got to spend several dollars for one. I should really just get them from Amazon, but then they don't have Prime shipping for whatever reason. Lighters are a really weird thing. Why wouldn't lighters, like a normal just Bic lighter, just be on Amazon and you could get it 2-day shipping? No, they don't. They don't have them. Then they don't have them in Target. So the supply chain definitely has not fully recovered. Like other things, you know, I can't think of off the top of my head, but stuff like that. Not like food or anything, but those type of things, they're just, you can't find them. It's really, really weird. So that the COVID stuff is persisting, and now you have this issue with the Panama Canal. That is not helping at all. So yeah, I don't know where we go from here, but hopefully they can, again, retrofit this over time and then use seawater. I mean, that would be the obvious answer, right? I mean, they're probably going to do that because how can you avoid this? You're just going to have, if anytime you have a drought. Again, it's weird to me. I guess when they built it, I don't remember when they built it. It was like decades ago. 70s maybe? I can't recall. But when they built it, you would think that I guess they just didn't think about at the time, but all that fresh water you're taking out of there, right? It's gonna, it's from ocean to ocean. That's just what's weird to me. You're not gonna run out of ocean, right? So it's also really interesting. The one side's higher than the other. Like the Pacific's higher than the Atlantic. It just slowly goes downhill. That's so weird because there's like sea level, but I guess it's not really sea level, is it? Very, very, very fascinating. But again, hopefully they get this solved and they can retrofit it over time without creating too much disruption. Which, I mean, honestly, like retrofitting it's going to create disruption. But if they're already disrupted because of a drought, it could happen again. And yeah, you would think they would just want to retrofit it because if they retrofit it, it'll cause delays and you can't go through maybe. But, I mean, they could retrofit it really. I mean, you would think at the same time because you could still be taking the fresh water while building, like, new pipes, right? Why couldn't you? And, like, again, I'm assuming it's because of erosion from salt water. I think that's why they don't want to use it because of the pipes. But you could definitely get pipes, right, that don't erode, you know, put a coating on them or whatever, or do maybe two different pipes. Like have two different lanes of pipes so you can have one in there for the roads. You can go work on the other one or maybe even three or something, right? Then you can have two shut down and then use one. And then when that needs to be going to maintenance, you turn the other one on and then you just have a fail safe if you have three of them. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. They really should actually do that. That's a really good idea, right? I just thought of that. If they did that, then you wouldn't have to worry about this anymore. And the Panama Canal can flow, and then you could have unlimited water essentially from the oceans. So yeah, hopefully they get that done. Do that. Listen to David Carson. David Carson said it first. You can have it for free. You don't have to pay me. You know, just get my lighters back in stock. Right? So yeah, but if they do that, that'd be awesome. Yeah, go do that. Then you don't have to worry about the traffic going forward. And people can all be happy. And it shouldn't really be that difficult. It's just you just add another pipe, right? Yeah, I mean, if you have to put it out above ground and have it dump in or it suck out under, like, have it like above ground and then have it go in and suck it out like that, or have it just pour in from the top. Yeah. I mean, come on. You guys are engineers. I'm no engineer. I'm just a YouTuber. Come on, bro. You guys can figure this out. You can get it solved. I believe in you.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.